Good morning. Welcome to Allen's Day. It is mid-September here in Wisconsin, and the weather is absolutely beautiful. You can see the trees are just starting to get a little bit of red on the red maples there. But I'm still working on the trailer. The rest of the trailer was supposed to be a winter project. But to keep Jean safe and keep her on the road, we need to do some work with the electrical. Electrical and the RV industry, I've got not too much faith in them as far as what the type of work that they've been doing. And this is just one more example of what forms my opinion on that. Let me show you. We've got a 7-wire plug on this RV. I'm not sure if this was a factory end on here. This is one of those ends that you hook all the wires up individually. These type of plugs here, these are for temporary use, or on a trailer that you don't use very much, or a trailer that maybe you only need just the left turn, right turn, running light, and a ground in there. Other than that, everything I've saw with these have been a complete failure my entire life. And probably what it comes down to is the people assembling these. If they assembled them and they had soldered ends on there or spades, they might hold together a little bit more. So if you have one of these ends on your trailer, I would recommend going out there and taking a look to save yourself some headache down the road. Replace it. And the way you replace that is with a molded plug. I was doing some Amazon shopping, and this is a molded plug where it's all rewired, pre-wired together here, so you don't have a place for wire connections to go bad. Not saying they don't, but you've got a better chance with this plug than this frickin' mess right here. And there again, don't forget to put a little dielectric grease down in the plug there before you put this in service. Well, let me give you a little bit of guidance on selecting a molded plug. On a gooseneck trailer, you need, from the center of this pin, center of your hitch, so from this point here to the end of your plug, when you stretch that out, you need approximately 9'6" or even 10 feet. And the reason you need that is if you ever have to hook your trailer onto a vehicle that does not have the plug on the inside the box, the traditional 8-foot long cord that everybody stocks will not work. So don't let anybody ever put an 8-foot cord on your gooseneck. Trust me on that one. Now, another reason we're doing this change-o on this, getting rid of this plug, is we had some electrical problems with this, and it all goes back to the factory on this. Like I said, it goes back to the factory. All they want to do is get it out the door, and if the lights work, they're fine. Literally, that's it. Anything above and beyond that is on you, and that's what you have to do here. So for starters, we had problems with this trailer. When you'd put it in reverse, you would blow the fuse in the truck for the reverse lights, the trailer reverse lights. Reason that was, from the factory, they had the yellow wire, which is the reverse light. They had it hooked in to the ground. So you had a direct short. And that's been like that for 3 years. So everybody that's owned this trailer has had problems with it. So I don't know why they didn't fix it, but like I said, it came right from the factory with the backup light hooked right to the ground. So fix that problem. The next problem was all these wires where they go through the bottom of this fixture here were going through a portion of this hole right here on the sheet metal. And because that sheet metal was up into there, so I just ripped the whole damn thing out of there. Not sure why they had it in there in the first place, but that edge on there is razor sharp, and all your wires for the trailer were laying on top of that razor's edge on there. I don't think you could have designed a more efficient way of making your wiring fail than the way they put this together. So anyways, let's get started converting this trailer from a junction box style up here to a box right here, and I'll show you how we do that. Now the box that you get when you buy, I bought this off of Amazon, and this was the brand right here, and you can get these all pre-wired, and they have a junction box with this all pre-wired in here for you. So literally all you have to do is mount your box here, cut the wire here, and run that into your box, and you're good to go. That way, if you've ever got to do any troubleshooting or checking, you can just pull the cover and just get right at the studs and see where you're at. I mean, this box is perfectly fine. I'm going to upgrade a little bit, and I'm going to put a bigger box and a clear box. These boxes are $22 a piece. This whole setup right here was I think $32, so I probably should just use the original box that came with it, but I can't leave it alone. I like a little more versatility and to be seeing what's going on in the box there. So I'm going to put this box on here. One other thing you got to be concerned about when you're wiring your 7-wire is you have to see if you are the 7-wire, the RV standard, or the traditional. We're going to go with what they got here. So when you're just trying to match colors up, you got to make sure which standard you're into. So that I got the next step done. I took and I drilled 1/4-inch holes. Found a good place to mount this. It should be safe and out of the way. I drilled 3 holes. The third hole is going to be for a ground stud. And I'll show you how that goes together. It's pretty simple, straightforward. You got to grind the paint off around there and take a 1/4-inch stainless steel bolt, run it in from the back side, and grab a standard stainless steel nut and a flat washer and run it down tight, and then that'll be your ground stud. You can never have enough grounds on a trailer. So, and I'll show you how we're going to run a jumper from that stud back to the trailer wiring there. So let me get this set up here, and I'll bring you back for the next phase. The next step of the process, let's figure out where we're going to cut this wire. In a perfect world, we would not put an extra splice connection in the circuit, but we sort of don't have any choice because all these wires are too short. So what we are going to do with the factory wiring is we're going to do a pull test on each one of these wires. We're going to recrimp it. We're going to put some dielectric grease down in there, and we're going to tape these connections. That way we're increasing our odds of the factory connections not failing. So let's get this wire cut here. Wire cutters, I got all the power. There is no power on the trailer. I got the battery out of there, so we're safe to cut this wire here, and we're going to be running it through just like this. So we can cut that wire right here is a good place to cut it. There we go. We're committed. If you want this cord here, if it was functioning when you took it off, you could save this for a temporary cord, wrap it in there, so if something did happen to your trailer cord on emergency on the road, you could strip these wires back and you could just wire nut them or tape them back together with your new line there. So this one, I'm just going to cut the end off for myself and throw that out and save that piece of cord. I'm not a hoarder, for real. I'm a what you call reuser. One of the real critical steps on this whole operation is, see, we're going to figure out where this is. This is the grommet that comes with the kit. I took my razor blade and I slit that. So we are going to take and slide this over the top of the wire here. And now we're going to take and strip these wires back. So the very critical part that you need to take all the time you need is when it comes time to make this cut and strip this back, that you do not nick any of the wires. And I just peel that back like that. Watch your hand, and real sharp razor blade knife, and just slowly go around it to strip that back without nicking any of the wires in there. So let me work on that. One other thing on the install here, stainless steel fasteners. Almost anything you do on a trailer or anything automotive or truck related, anything that's going outside, for the miscellaneous hardware, always use stainless. That's a zinc fastener from the factory. That's gonna rust. You know, it looks like shit. So I got stainless 316 stainless bolts, and anytime you get a chance to use a nylock, that's what this is right here. Is the nylock. It has so that it doesn't rattle loose, and also this is a standard nut right here, and that's the jam nut that goes on there. In some cases, stainless steel is cheaper than the steel version. We are still making progress. Successful cut around there. I did not nick any wires. Starting to put the ends on right now. I'm using a heat shrink connector. It's a 10 gauge. Some of these wires are a little smaller. So what I did is strip them back a little bit farther and then fold them over so that you got more copper in contact here. And also, as always, anytime you put a butt connector together, take a little dielectric grease and put just a little dab in the end right there. Put this on. That way the dielectric grease goes through the copper. Twist that to make sure that it's on. Get a good quality wire crimpers, something that has some surface area on here, not those little skinny ones, so that you're making a good crimp on there. And it does make a difference which side you crimp this on. You can see that there's a split. That split needs to go to the rounded part of the die of your crimpers. Otherwise it's going to open up. So put it in there. Give it a good squeeze. And then always give it your tug test on there to make sure it's not pulling out. There, once that's in there, we're going to take our heat gun and we're going to heat shrink that on there. And you can see that dielectric grease just oozing out of the top there a little bit. That's a good thing. Now, to hook these up, what I did is, so you can see that I crossed out all the other labeling on this particular box here. I put a stainless steel washer on. I put stainless washers on the bottom. I put a little bit more dielectric grease on there. And then when it comes time to put the wires on there, we got the green wire. We're going to put another stainless washer over the top, and then we're going to put the nut that came with the box on there. And I got to get all these lined up and put in place. I did pre-cut these, and I staggered the cuts on here so that we don't have excess wire. So let me get that all wired up, and I will bring you back. We're ready to hook the other cord into it. Let's go see what Jean's up to this morning. She's got a project that she saw a safety hazard, which I agree with. If you look on these trailer fenders right here, they've got this aluminum edge, and this edge is sharp right here. You've got the ties for your horse right there, so if a horse ends up picking a knee up into it, there's a pretty good chance they're going to slit themselves. So what Jean came up with is this protective edging. This is a 3/32, and it's 25 feet long, and she got it off of Amazon. It was relatively inexpensive, but it's a whole lot cheaper than a vet bill putting stitches in your horse off these trailer fenders. So what she's doing here is she's got this all pounded on. About every 10 inches she's taken some caulk and putting it in the groove to help hold that in there and secure it, but it's staying pretty good. And then she takes her hammer and she pounds up on the bottom side. See, there she is.
I'm doing you.
So this is another weekend upgrade you can do on your trailer. There's so much that you can do yourself on these trailers to make them safer for you and the horse, and just a little more enjoyable to be around. So, and oh, there you go. She's putting the caulk in the groove there. And with that latex caulk on there, you put it in there, and like I said, it'll wipe off with some Windex, and it'll just help secure that a little bit better. So we better get back to our project over here. We've got our box sealed back up. All the wires there have been taken care of. The next thing is, on a trailer, you should never ever see individual wires like this someplace. If it is, that means somebody forgot or cheapened out a little bit. This is a wire loom. This is a real inexpensive, low quality one. Depends what the application is, but we don't need much on there. So here's what you do is you just put that on, and you can buy this in a big roll. And there again, it's one of these things that anybody can do it. So there you go. you got that sealed up there. Now, if you look right up into there, you can see more wires. And those wires are going through the frame of the trailer. And on that frame of that trailer is a torch cut where they put a hole in there. That's another wear area. So this is a different size wire loom. This was a 3/8, this is a 3/4. You can get half. Like I said, it's relatively inexpensive. You buy it by the 100-foot roll and put it in there. So let me get those wires taken care of. I wish they would have did it at the factory. It would have saved me a little bit of aggravation. So I'll get that taken care of. It cooled down a lot. We got some shade over here now. So let's finish this off. I've got show you what I got done. Here's that ground stud that you saw me put in earlier. I've got a ground wire from here over to the white lug, which is ground. Anytime you're putting a junction box in, if you can get a ground next to it someplace, put a ground stud, do it. The more grounds, the better. And we got a strain relief on here. I've got everything buttoned up in there between caulked, wire loom on there. Got a strain relief here. I don't think I'm as impressed with these expensive boxes as I thought I was. They don't have an internal clamp on here to hold this wire. Not a good thing. So just make sure you have plenty of strain reliefs, which I do. And that's the last piece that's got to go in here is right here. I try not to use self-tappers as much as possible, unless you got a real good quality self-tapper. This is a 316 stainless, and I got a stainless steel flat washer. It's a 1/4 inch diameter with a 3/8 head. That's got quite a bit of grip in it. What I did first is I drilled a 5/32 pilot hole in here just to take some of the pressure off this self-tapper when I run it in there. Pretty straightforward. Put your cable holder on there. And screw it in. Here we go. Now, last of all, I've just got to button this up. But before I button it up, I'm going to take my wiring diagram that I have here, fold this all up nice and pretty, stuff it inside of here, and that way if anybody's ever got to do any troubleshooting on the road, all they got to do is look at that and they'll be able to see if they can track down any problems. Hopefully you're not going to have any. So, well, let me finish buttoning this up and we'll get on to the next portion of the project here. One more upgrade I just did. I had no place to hang the cord. Now it just sits up there. Just took a piece of 1/8 inch aluminum, took one of my 3/8 self tappers, ran it into that tube. That way you know where your cord's at and it's not going to get pinched. The next step of the process is let's test to make sure that we got trailer lights back there. I've got this fancy trailer tester. Pretty straightforward. Just plug you got to charge this up so this stays charged. I got the cord plugged in and turn the switch on, and that shows the power that's in the battery here, and I just hit auto test and it just goes right down the road and checks everything out. So with one light that's taken very little resistance, That's with the LEDs. The brake, that looks good. And you can see the backup. It's an open circuit. It's not hooked up. That's because Harmar does not have backup lights on these trailers that go to the back of the unit. What they do have back here is they've got a switch that they're getting power from that operates the backup lights off the battery here. I got to put that on the list, is I got to put a relay in there with the backup light will then trigger the relay to send power to the back. That's this winter's project. We just got to get this thing going. So trailer lights look good. Let's get this thing hooked up back onto the truck. Oh, now I'm just finishing up and Taz comes to visit. Yes, that's my helper cat. We spend all winter in the garage together. One more tip for the day, then we're done. Hooking up your trailer, especially when you got a truck that doesn't have a backup camera and you can't see the ball. We've got 2 yellow wheel chucks, one back there. When I unhooked this, I made sure I was as straight as possible. I threw a wheel check down, and then I took some chalk and I put an outline where the wheel chuck was. You can use that, or if you got a brick or something, throw it down there. Anything's going to help you line that up. It's just sometimes frustrating to hit the ball there. So thanks for sticking around. We'll catch you on the next one. We'll get this hooked up and we'll be out of here. Doesn't get any simpler than that. Talk to you guys later. Bye. Thank you for watching Alan's Day. Life is about making choices. Some things are already perfect. Some things you may choose to upgrade. This channel will show you both. Please like, subscribe, and share. Thanks again.